That's right, fresh off the jet, we are here in Las Vegas. It's the Dazn Boxing Show, the Ak and Barak Takeover.
Why are you always talking about we off the jet? That was a day ago. He didn't shower, that's why. Listen, they knew we was coming. Never mind that, it's Barak and it's Ak. Let's go.
That's right, all things boxing, only here on the Dazn Boxing Show. That's why we're here, Fury Wilder 3, let's go. Okay, fight fans, this is the Dazn Boxing Show. No, this is not a Dazn fight card on Saturday night. We're just at all the big fights. This is what boxing shows should do.
I think it's in the contract now to have Ak and Barak at every single thing. So it's going to be the Dazn Boxing Show at every single boxing match. And this is heavyweights. I put on weight for this fight, purposely.
You look a little heavier, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm always a heavyweight, but check it out. Listen, it's Fury Wilder. Look, it didn't take long before those verbal jabs started flying at the press conference. Check it out.
He says he wants to do bad things to me and hurt me and do all this malice feelings, and he's got anger and aggression. Well, for those who hold a hot coal with the intentions of throwing it at somebody, guess what? They're the ones who's going to get burnt. I don't want to hurt Deontay Wilder. I just want to beat him in a fight. And he knows what he's saying is lies. And deep down in his soul, he knows that he lost. And he'll lose again. And he lost the first time, he lost the second time, and he's going to lose the third time. And guess what? After this fight, he'll be back working in that fast food chain that he was working at earlier on in his career. Because that's the only place he's going to be welcome.
It's easy to answer
retirement for him.
It's
retirement
easy to answer your question.
Retirement dosser.
The answer to your question is why you changed for the first and second.
No, that ain't the answer to the question. That's another question. So that's not an answer. If I only won because I cheated, why do all this extra training?
Because obviously you
can beat me with the old training you was doing as long as I didn't cheat.
So ask yourself that question.
You got to ask yourself the question. If I've done all this cheating,
I see nervous energy.
Yeah, then why has he not prepared himself? He hasn't done any extra steps at all to stop me from cheating again.
Why you explain yourself?
I'm not explaining myself. I'm asking you the question.
You haven't denied any
allegations. What have you done
to this point?
I don't need to deny it because it's
true.
Know
what I'm saying? You haven't denied any
I had
allegations.
knuckle dusters on. I had a turbo jets on my feet.
You don't even want certain media in here to give you the tough questions. You have nobody to give you the tough questions.
And there's nobody in here that can ask me a tough question.
So when it's like
you're in denial and you're getting knocked out.
All right, time for the opening bell, and we're going to crack on mental strength. We all know that Fury likes to play mind games. He's been doing it throughout his entire career. Right. Listen, Deontay Wilder, let's be honest, a lot of people didn't agree with those allegations after the second fight. He's shown a little mental toughness now afterwards, but earlier on, it seemed a little shaky. Who's going into this fight with the more mental toughness?
Well, first of all, I want to say that I don't think you can really crack a person mentally if they have supreme confidence. I always talk about that. Deontay has supreme confidence. But I do understand that Fury is very good at these psychological games. In a perfect world, of course, the winner is supposed to be the one that comes in with that mental edge. But that winner still knows he's fighting a dangerous man. He keeps saying in all of these interviews, is he saying it just so if he wins, he can say, hey, I beat that dangerous man? Or is he really saying it? Is he saying it because I really think this guy is dangerous and I see what he's doing with Malik Scott?
Listen, you know why I'm not sold on Deontay Wilder not being mentally right? Because you say it all the time. Deontay really believes that he was cheated. He believes that he didn't really lose a fair fight. Absolutely. So if a man believes that, maybe he's still mentally strong.
There you go.
I mean, I'm not saying I agree with the allegations, but what I'm saying, it's all about what he actually genuinely believes.
100%. I say that all the time.
I can't say who's more mentally strong going into this fight.
Right.
We all know what we're going to get. We're going to get a 6'9" heavyweight who knows how to box, knows how to move, and is fighting a guy who can punch probably harder than any other heavyweight in history, or close to it. So that's what we're going to get. Now, let's get into Malik Scott. He's the X factor here in this fight, in this camp, because people are looking at what they're putting out there they're watching what they're putting out there on social media. Deontay looks better with Malik Scott. I'm not throwing shots at his old trainers, but he does look aesthetically better. Are we going to see a different Deontay Wilder?
First off, I want to say that shout out to his other trainers he's had before, JD's and Mark Breland, because it's not like Deontay Wilder didn't have that.
Right.
He showed us in 2015 against the Burn, but he had to resurrect that, and that's Malik Scott. If you ever speak to Malik Scott, or even just follow him on Instagram, you know he has a brilliant mind. Like, he's looking at the same thing. We've all seen those fights.
Of course.
He's looking at the same thing, and he's like picking out things that you didn't notice, I didn't notice, and I'm like, well, maybe you didn't notice, not me, I noticed. But, you know, I'm like, this guy is really, really brilliant. So to have that kind of mind with that kind of raw power and discipline and ability to learn, who knows what.
And you know, I really disagree with Tyson Fury when he mentions Malik Scott being a loser. How's a loser going to teach you how to win? Look, some of the best acting coaches in Hollywood never made it in Hollywood. They never made big films, but they're the best acting coaches. They know how to dissect the genre, the art. So Malik Scott is one of those guys that, from the outside, maybe he's a better trainer than he was a fighter.
Freddie Roach, who did he beat? Who did Freddie Roach beat? You know, I understand. See, and that's the thing about Fury. The reason why he said it, why? Psychological games, mind games. You know, work on a trainer, work on a fighter. But to your point, I think that's brilliant. You're right. You don't have to be the best fighter to be. Matter of fact, a lot of times the best fighter is not the best trainer.
Look, there's so many trainers out there that weren't successful boxers and were very successful trainers. Now, as far as mental, mental edge and mind games, Fury at the press conference was throwing it out there that he's going to retire Deontay Wilder.
Right.
Now, Deontay Wilder seems like he has a lot of fight left in him, but if he so happens to lose this third fight, do we see him step foot in the ring? Again, will there be a retirement?
I mean, I've said this before, like, you got Andy Ruiz, and there's three guys he named. He named Charles Martin, the guy that was right back there, Adam Kopnowski, and Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz is 41, 42 years old. Who do you want to see him fight? You want to see him fight Luis Ortiz, right? Yeah, me too. Even though he lost twice to the same guy, the top guy at the time, Deontay Wilder. So I think Deontay Wilder, there's still going to be fights for him. And why can't he build himself back up to maybe a fourth fight or whatever? Who knows? But even if it's not the case, you want to see a guy that could punch like that fight no matter what.
He's always going to have you on the edge of your seat. Obvious. There are a lot of fights out there to be made in the heavyweight division. Right. I see him coming back if he so happens to lose, but I can understand why people might think he might be done because he didn't take the first loss well. All right, from a heavyweight knockout artist to a Brooklyn super middleweight knockout artist, the monster himself, our guy, Edgar Berlanga. The iciest man in the room, no question about it, man. The Brooklyn's own, I'll say it in Spanish, El Monstro, the monster, Edgar Berlanga.
Nice, okay.
Did I say that right? It was on Spanish, okay?
Yeah, it was perfect,
he don't speak no Spanish, he don't know.
Nah, he been in Puerto Rico a lot lately. Now, speaking of Puerto Rico, listen, we know that Puerto Rico is a boxing country, right? Yeah. I mean, we had the greats like Tito Trinidad, obviously Miguel Cotto before that with Fernando Benitez, and you're smart enough to embrace that. You spend a lot of time on the island. Is it advice from your father, or do you just feel that natural connection to the island?
Yeah, it's just natural, man. And if you know, you've seen photos of me when I was 8 years old, man. When I first started boxing, I always represented, I always wore the flag, man. I always had the trunks on, Puerto Rican trunks. You know, Puerto Rican Day weekend, I used to walk the parade, you know, with all my little belts and stuff, man. So, you know, it was always in me to have that connection with Puerto Rico, even though I wasn't born over there. But I just love my island, man. I love my people.
Yeah, but there's a lot of Puerto Rican Americans who were born here who don't get that same support that you get. Why you, bro?
I have no clue, man. Fat Joe said on live, he said, yo, me and Pun, you know, we went hard for the island, man, for the flag, and they just always said, you know, these are New York Ricans, you know, Macho Camacho, New York Rican, right. You know, Garcia, my brother, and another one, you know, and Philly Rican, and you know, with me, man, I don't know, man. I think it's just a connection, man. I think it's just, you know, they just brought me in. Right. You know, I think it's just the love that I got for the flag and for the island. You know, I love my island, man. I love the culture.
Yeah, I mean, look, our culture is great. I'm Puerto Rican myself, love the food. But what about the pressure of being one of the Puerto Rican greats? I mean, you love Tito Trinidad. I remember watching footage on Instagram of you meeting him, you guys squaring up.
Yeah.
How did that feel? Like, did you feel like he was passing the torch?
Oh, 100%, man. you know, I got emotional. I'm not gonna lie. I teared up. I swear to God, I teared up when he was talking to me because it hit me in a moment. It was like he was talking, and I looked. I said, "Wow!" I used to watch this guy when I was 2 or 3 years old.
Yes.
You know, and I'm here with him now.
Right.
You know, I was there with him for about 8, almost 10 hours, man. We was just talking, boxing, life, and he fell in love with me. He said, once I walked into it was like a little a restaurant we was at. That's his, you know, his family's restaurant. He said he seen himself in me. He told me just like that. He said the charisma, you know, he said the smile. He said you're a people's person like how I was, you know, and he said, yo, you got a good family, you have a good father, you got a good coach, you got a good team, you know, keep it that way and stay with your team, you know, because obviously, you know, people, you get, you know, sidetracked and they get, you know, in life. Yeah.
Shafted.
Yeah.
That means shaft. Shaft.
With no Vaseline.
Shaft.
No Vaseline.
But listen, I mean, he spoke to us about you, actually, Tito, you know what I mean? But you're fighting somebody who gave Billy Joe Saunders that work until he got stopped in the 11th round. Are you trying to do better than that? Oh,
of course. You know, I was telling everybody, man, I said, listen, I'm not no Billy Joe Saunders. You know, I don't punch like him. I don't fight like him. You know, it's a different type of mindset, man. I'm looking to prove a point this Saturday for sure. You know, we up the competition. Every fight, we try to up it a little bit, little by little, you know, because at the end of the day, boxing is not a sprint, it's a marathon. So I'm looking to prove a statement, you know, and leave my name. But not only that, you know, I'm a ferocious fighter. I'm vicious, man. Like I said, I wanna. When I punch, man, I want to punch somebody's head off, you know, and his head, I want to punch it back to Argentina. So, and I want to put my fist to his chest. Yeah, respectfully, disrespectfully, you know. So
Edgar, in a way, you feel like not getting the knockout the last time kind of put that pressure off your shoulders. Now you can go in a fight comfortably. I don't have to be worrying about keeping a streak, but you're still trying to knock people out. But is it less pressure now?
Yeah, man, you know, I got the whole first round thing. So now, you know, me prepping for the fight, you know, I don't hear people talking, yo, another first round knock. You know, every fight was like first round. And now it's like, he gonna knock this boy out, but it'll probably be in the 3rd round, probably be in the later, probably 8th round. No more, everybody's just like, you know, they know I'm gonna get the knockout, but it's like, what round now? You know, what round he's gonna, last fight it was like first round. The previous fight before that was like first round, and now it's just like, everything's just coasting now, you know. But hey, you never know. We probably start the streak up again, man.
No doubt. You know, I know sometimes like people could be around their idols or celebrities or whatever and get more nervous than just being around your friends or anybody else.
Yeah.
That doesn't make you nervous that all of these stars that they're just on board that Edgar Berlanga train come to see you and you know you gotta perform. That don't make you nervous?
Nah, man. I love it. It's different, man. Like when you want that light, when you want to shine that much. You know, it's a difference where you don't look for it and it just comes. You get nervous because you're not ready for it. You're like, damn, I didn't know this was gonna come. I didn't know this was gonna happen. But like when you see it and you know, like I know I'm a star. I know I'm a superstar. I know I'm a celebrity already. I know I'm bigger than a lot of these cats out there. So it's like I want this shit, man. I really want it. Like I want it. I want to be the face of boxing. I want to be that guy. You know, I want to be the guy that, you know, when I come back to my hood, you know, people make a parade for me. When I go to Puerto Rico, they do a parade for me, man. I want that type of light. And when you want it, there's nothing it could stop you, man.
You're not only speaking it to existence, you're doing it. It's becoming real life. And you have a great management team. You got Keith Conley with Top Rank. So you guys are mapping out your career. I've noticed that in the last year or so, everything is mapped out. So map out 2022 for Edgar Berlanga. I want to know who do you want your 3 next opponents
Now hold on. Keith already spoke to us. So if you lying, we're going to call you the hell out. I'm going to let you know that.
I mean, I know we spoke about the December 11th fight. You know, I think we're looking at a guy named Steve Rose. He fought Triple G for December 11th.
Right.
March, June, I'm going to keep it a buck. I don't know yet. He probably knows. He ain't tell me nothing.
He ain't tell us that one.
But forget about like what he has going on. Who do you want to fight?
You know, we're looking for, you know, obviously a Steve Rose and just, you know, March, another guy like him. You know, June, Puerto Rican Day weekend in the Garden. You know, we're looking to really step up, you know, and fight a good name.
Look, there was talks about you and the Philly Puerto Rican, the veteran, Gabe Rosado. Gabe has a big fight ahead of him against Munguia, but if he pulls up a victory against that, maybe that fight even becomes bigger and you guys can make that showdown in Puerto Rican Day Parade weekend.
You know,
I know y'all cool.
I'm mad cool with him, man. And we spoke, we was talking back and forth, but it's all love with him. You know, he knows at the end of the day, we both Puerto Rican brothers, you know what I'm saying? And you know, it was just business, man. Like we spoke. He was like, yo, listen, we can make it happen. We can make this happen and make a lot of money. And I said, I'm with it, you know. But then, you know, obviously everything went left. You know, he got the fight with Munguia, whatnot. You know, I want him to whip Munguia's ass. If not, Munguia got to move up and I'll whip his. But you know, I spoke with Daddy Yankee, and he seen the whole thing about me and Rosado was going, and he was like, damn, Puerto Rican ain't weekend. He was like, like, damn, like, you know, Bori, what a Bori is, damn. He's like,
crazy.
It's not great. It's not the
great.
most ideal situation. You're Mexican.
Yeah, exactly. So he told me personally in my face, you know, when I was in Puerto Rico like 3 months ago, he was like, yo, damn, man, like. With him,
if you could avoid it.
Yeah, he told me, he said, you know, like, you know, that, you know, it's Puerto Rican thing, you know. I was like, yeah, I know. I said, listen, man, but you know, I don't know if you heard, Gabriel Rosado was like, yo, it's my brother, man. But you know, best of luck to him. You know, I want him to. I told him, I said, yo, whip this boy's.
No doubt.
Do you want? Because Canelo was about to fight Plant.
Yeah.
Great fight. Both of them guys.
Oh yeah,
good
tremendous fight.
Beautiful fight. Do you want Canelo to win so that eventually you could fight Canelo? Because he's such a bigger name, or it don't really matter to you, you just here to fight everybody?
Yeah, I mean, regardless if he loses or wins, you know, that fight is going to be big regardless, man. Like, you see, Bob Arum said it, man, I just got to keep winning. I got to keep looking good, performing good. You know, at the end of the day, nothing could continue unless I win. You know, I got to win in a tremendous way, man, and continue that presence that I always bring to fight nights, and eventually it'll happen, man. I see it happen, and I visualized it in my head plenty of times, man.
Who wins that fight, Caleb Plant, Canelo?
Man, it's like I told everybody, it's a hard fight. You know, I think Caleb Plant is the biggest fight of his career. So I think you know, I want to see what type of mindset he's gonna come in. You know, a lot of guys, you know, obviously at that level, at that pinnacle of boxing, man, you know, is normal. You can't. It's normal, bro. You know, you have to be here mentally.
Right.
You know, you could look tremendous in the gym. You could spar 15 rounds, man. But when that night comes, you know, with the fans, the media,
you felt it?
Yeah, you could feel it. You know, it does. But like I said, you got to be right here mentally. If not, that shit'll drain you. And come fight night, when you're in front of him, all that energy that you had, it just sucks you right out.
What was your toughest fight concerning that? Not your opponent, concerning yourself, being mentally ready? I think
I know. Probably my last fight.
Yeah.
You know, my last fight.
Figured that.
You know, it was like when I walked out, you know, the stadium was going crazy. You know? And then when I'm in the ring, I'm fighting, and all I hear is, you know, Edgar, and I hear, Puerto Rico. And I'm just hearing it like in my ear, and I'm like, oh, like this is crazy.
Before you get out of here, Edgar, listen, you're a knockout artist. Deontay Wilder's a knockout artist. So he's fighting your stablemate Tyson Fury. Give me a prediction for Saturday night.
It's a lot that could happen that night. You know, Fury could stop him again. But then again, you know, we don't know what Wilder's coming with. You know, I know he has a lot of motion built up from the last fight. You know, and Tyson Fury, man, he'll suck the energy out of you too, man. All that talking, you know, he's on social media blasting, he's making stools of his face, you know, he's gonna sit down, he's gonna put his on his face on the stool. So there's a lot that goes into that fight, man. Like I said to everybody out there, man, I think it's gonna be a big, tremendous fight, man. But I think Fury's gonna pull the win off.
Okay.
Thank you for your time. Looking forward to seeing you in the ring on Saturday night, man. Edgar Berlanga.
From one undefeated fighter to another one, but this one is the lineal champion in the lightweight division. Our guy, we caught up with him, Teofimo Lopez.
What's up, guys? Hey, thank you guys for having me. Always, one love.
Always a pleasure chopping it up with you. Look, a lot to talk about, and I want to jump right into your fight that was scheduled on Triller, and it was rescheduled every couple of weeks like it's a baby shower. And meanwhile, this is a big, big fight. Yes. But eventually, Triller pulled the plug, obviously. Matchroom and Eddie Hearn took over. The fight is going to be promoted by Matchroom. No date yet, but how was that process, getting ready, making weight, trying to be ready at 135, and the fight keeps getting pushed back? Has to be frustrating to some degree.
It can be, as long as, but I always turn that negative into a positive, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I had to really, you got to be mentally strong in this, you know? A lot of people were trying to break me down mentally, physically, and emotionally, and I had to kneel every time, you know, and just pray to the man above and just give me the guidance and the strength to overcome all these obstacles that were in my way.
Can you talk about that?
The industry, you know what I'm saying?
They're like us. They gotta overcome us.
You know, but it's more, you know, it's more than that. Like, I guess, you know, me, when I beat Lomachenko 23 years young, something that a lot of people didn't expect for me to do. You know,
Well,
and
we
now,
did. We
yeah,
did.
you know what I'm saying? Of course, and a lot of people out there in New York knew the same thing. So it's like, I'm over here just trying to set a tone for the new foundation of a new generation that's on the rise. So how you can hate on that, you know? So I got punished for something that I was being great at. You know what I mean? They boxed me up, and during that time, I just reflected back on my life, reflected back on, you know, who I am as a person, got to love myself rather than love everyone else, you know, and took that step back because I did what I had to do. And honestly, it just worked in my benefit, man. And I got closer to God, man. And I just, honestly, meditating and everything, I'm on a whole new scale level. I'm ready for anything and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. So you experienced your first purse bid and all of these postponements.
Yeah.
Do you think that Triller is going to last in this game with the experience that you had with them recently?
The thing is, like, you cannot. I mean, there's opinions and then there's facts. However, it comes to like, you have to be organized in this. You know, they're new into boxing, right?
Yeah.
Of course, and we cannot like be so strict on it. But when you have a champion like myself, undisputed lightweight world champion, and is one of the top high calibrated fighters, you gotta treat it like that. You know, this is not just a joke. Right. You know, so it's not like, and if you treated me like a joke, no fighter is gonna want to work with y'all. You know, and it's a good point to put out there. You know.
What do you think, if you had to pinpoint a few things that Triller did wrong as it relates to your fight, what was it?
I could say, really, to be real, is no coordination, no communication, and just nothing organized in that sense of understanding how this boxing game works. Like, you don't just wait. This is not a Coachella. This is not no music, and no, this is boxing. You know, so boxing has its own foundation and own rules and regulations that we go by. You know, I was surprised that IBF didn't even step in sooner. You know, I'm surprised that my manager didn't step in sooner. You know, nobody stepped in. You know what I mean? They just let Triller do what they wanted to do. Right. You know, and I understand, like, hey, they have their things, and I don't want to step on nobody's toes. You know what I mean? But hey, at the end of the day, I got my own little junior on the way. You know, I got my own little son on the way. I got a family to feed. You know, y'all messing with my food. You know, I don't mess with people's food. You know, on their plate, I don't take from anybody's plate. You know, but everybody just started grabbing and just started dissing me because I got sick. It's a pandemic. I got COVID. Yeah. Why am I going to turn down $5.6 million against a guy like Kambosos? Right. You know, when I took 1.3 against Vasily Lomachenko, who was the #1 rated pound-for-pound fighter in the world and one of the greatest of this time that they were saying. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that kind of doesn't make sense. But
no.
How do you feel about this whole thing now? Do you feel like, okay, let me just get this fight over with Kambosos, or you rather fight somebody else now? You're done with it.
The thing was, like, Kambosos kind of made this fight even fall through because he didn't even want to go for the other date.
16th.
For the 16th. I was ready for the 4th. I was ready for the 16th. I'm ready now. You know, because you got to know your body. This guy, every guy that I face is just going to beat their body up and overdo it and overdo it and overdo it. You know, you could go and beat the bag all you want. Right. Like, by the time it's fight night, they're already done. You know
I can call Kambosos right now. We can get this popping, like, right now. How
of course.
About that? You say you're ready now.
You know what? This fight, the reason why you wanted to follow through with this fight was because you wanted to remain undisputed. You wanted to hold on to that IBF title. You didn't want to let go of none of the straps because you had an option at one point to relinquish the belt, just let it go and move on to bigger fights. But you said, nah, I want to hold on to this belt. In hindsight, right, after all that has happened, do you feel like if you can go back in time, would you have vacated the belt?
No, not at all, because that's the first belt that got me to become undisputed. Ooh. So that's something that I hold very dear to my heart. You know what I mean? That's close to me. I gave that belt to my father. Just like when I won my first amateur fight, I gave the first medal to my father. So like my first world title and world championship, that's my father's belt now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, even though I'm always gonna defend it, you know. So but that was the path to get me to all the other stuff that I have, all the riches of the glory. You know. So I don't regret anything. I don't regret my decisions and everything. The whole thing was this, man. It was like, people talk about the financial stuff and that I was shooting for that. It wasn't the financial. I was shooting for my respect. You know, when you earn your stripes, especially back in the days, when you earned your stripes and you became undisputed or you're a world champion, you was on top of the world. Yeah. Nowadays, it's not even about being on top of the world and becoming an undisputed world champion. It's about how many followers you got on excuse my language, but on social media.
Right. Well, how many you got, though?
I don't get it. For me, I got more than I need.
Wow,
I got more.
answer.
I got
Good
more
answer.
than I need. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I know everybody's been talking about me, even without me fighting, and I haven't been active since the Lomachenko fight, and still people want to talk about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that means I did a big movement and a big impact. But this is not my fault, ladies and gentlemen. You know, they boxed me up, and they did it on purpose so that I could so I could break and fold and let go of my dreams. Like, I'm tripping.
Right. Now, take me back to when you finally found out, all right, Triller is behind us. It's Matchroom. It's on DAZN now to fight. What was your first reaction?
I always knew that I was going to be good regardless. Okay. That's my mentality. Like, all right, if it falls through, DAZN is going to pick it up. And when DAZN picks it up and Eddie Hearn and Matchroom Boxing, I'm gonna still be fighting,
right.
And I'm gonna be on a great platform. Right. You know, now I got an opportunity right here to be with DAZN and build relationships with them and with Eddie, and because that's a business mindset you gotta have. Look, I got my Takeover Promotions. I did a deal directly with ESPN. It wasn't with Top Rank. Me and Top Rank are just partners. You know what I mean? But I got, at 23 years young,
You're a boss.
I did my own thing, Takeover Promotions, with ESPN directly, and I get 70% of the net. Damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I don't even have to talk about it. Like, look, they dealing with their own peoples and they dealing with their own things. I don't have to say, oh, I got to talk to my manager and this and that to make a fight happen. No, I make fights happen.
Right, so what is it then? You're in charge now. Or
Yeah.
are we going to Cambosis? He messed up everything, and in your eyes, him and Triller. Is that still going to be the fight, or is it going to be the next guy, or what?
It's up to him. You know, I believe that we already confirmed it. So I mean, the guy is training, right? So he turned down. He wanted an extra $380,000 more, and this guy was gonna get $2 million for this fight again with Triller, right? That's the biggest payday that you've seen from a mandatory, from a contender, right? Not even a world champion get $2 million ever. You know, and you're asking for more money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta budget yourself, man. A lot of these fighters are broke.
Now, there's rumors that the fight might end up in New York, where it was supposed to be originally. I mean, has there been any conversation in regards to that?
Yeah, I spoke with a lot of people from. I spoke with Joe Fisher, Sal, and a lot of the guys from MSG. They came over the other couple days ago at the gym, and they spoke with Eddie, and they're trying to push it to November 13th at Madison Square Garden in New York. And the thing is, like, and then that builds a gateway for me, because now Takeover Promotions, you know, now we talk about other things, you know. So I'm building my whole foundation, my own thing, and it's like, I just want to put out something real quick. Takeover Promotion is going to be something where I kind of educate the young fighters how to move, and how to, when they're on camera, they don't have to be like, yeah, Kemp was good, and just pull teeth. Like, you got to teach them. It's like Takeover one-on-one sessions. You know what I'm saying?
Show them how to deal with the
and
media
show them
and
how
so
to
on.
be themselves, and just, you cannot be Mayweather. Mayweather is already been done with, you know. That's Mayweather. You know, there's only one of every fighter, you know, so you got to be you. So when I hear people say that they want to be like that, go ahead, be like that. It's been done before. You're just a copycat. I'm going to be Teofimo Lopez to the fullest.
Man, that's a good point. So how hands-on are you going to be with Takeover Promotions? Are you going to be the one scouting? Oh, yeah,
Yes.
that kid right there, he's nice.
Yes, me, my father, and whoever else that I believe has the eyesight to see young talent. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to have just a whole bunch of fighters that are not equivalent to what I'm looking for. You know, they don't have that mentality that I'm striving for. You know, if you're just trying to get a bag in this, it don't work that way. I want people to build a brick with me. You know, I want people to work with and build their own foundation, you know, and have them take care of their own self, you know, and learn that, hey, when you take care of your foundation first and you take care of all that, the rest will come with it.
Amen. Do you have any idea of who may be your first signing? Like, are you already?
No, right now I'm focused on this fight, and then with this money that I get, I'm gonna invest it. You know what I mean? And then I get my people along with it, PR people, management, everything. Just get the right people that I need into this and take over promotions, and then I get connects with every outlet that I can, and especially with people like DAZN.
Yeah. Listen, obviously you talked about moving up to 140, become undisputed at 140. There's so many big fighters at 135. We just heard, it's not official yet, but Ryan Garcia, Jojo Diaz, supposed to be getting it on November 27th. They're big name lightweights. Obviously Ryan Garcia is a very popular fighter. And then you also have the issues that's been ongoing with the WBC in regards to Devin Haney, right? So are you motivated to stay at 135 and face all of those guys? Because people want to see you against the Devin Haneys of the world, against the Ryan Garcias, against the Tank Davises. Like, what's your goal?
My goal is the same thing. I want to make these fights happen, but it's not me. Like, every time they ask these guys a question, they're like, oh, I got to get back with my manager first and my promoter, and we got to talk about it. Like, that's just an outlet of saying, like, they don't want to fight. You know what I mean? So it's like...
So you don't think any of those guys really want to fight you?
No, because Tank Davis had the opportunity in 2016, from 2016 to 2020, for 4 years to fight Lomachenko. Nobody and they kept saying, oh, they're not ready, or they got this going on, and something came up. Devin Haney, same thing, still quiet throughout the whole time. Ryan Garcia was just building his social media platform, and look where that got him. So it's like, really just... who's really putting the movement here? You know what I mean? I don't duck or dodge nobody. A lot of people call me the duck. Well, I'm an ugly duck that turned into a beautiful swan. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how you guys, it's just, look, there's a lot of animosity in this, and it's like, I ain't the one that's ducking over here. I'm pushing for every fight, because at the end of the day, all those guys are gonna have their biggest payday fighting me.
Yeah.
You know, they talk about they the A side and all this and all that, but in reality, like, Tank Davis will get $10 million fighting me and more, rather than like 3 or 4 that he's getting. Okay. You know, but they rather take that because it's safer. You know, because they want to protect that donut. They want to protect that, and that donut for them is glazed. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And mine ain't glazed. You know, so mine is just as real as it come. You know, and they've been taking care of that.
I don't get that metaphor right there. That glazed donut. Nah, I'm just kidding. But where does 140, moving up to 140 and facing Josh Taylor, where does that sit on your list?
Oh, that's like, that's definitely number one, because I'm all about shooting for the glory. I'm shooting about for those things, because what I realized in life is this, man. If you look back in boxing history, when those guys became world champions, they was on top of the world. And how you got to become world champion, you got to fight for those belts. You know what I'm saying? So, like, becoming undisputed at 135, if I shoot for that, I always have been. So it's like going to 140, shooting for undisputed as well. You know, so it's like trying to break more records, do more things that people have yet to see. This is my Kobe year. I just turned 24. I have not even hit my prime yet. You know, we usually hit our prime by the time we like in our late 20s.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, so there's still so much more. All right, like before we get out of here, look.
I do want those guys.
If you do get past Kambosos, lay out your next 3 fights in 2022.
It could be Josh Taylor, the winner, and then after Josh Taylor, but I already know what Josh Taylor is going to do. He's going to want to move up to 147, and then I already know what these guys think about. Tank Davis, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, any of those guys. You know what I mean? I've been at this weight for so long. You know, these guys are just coming up in my weight class.
Right.
You know, Ryan Garcia started at like 130.
Right.
Devin Haney as well.
Right.
You know, I've been at this weight class since 2013.
Right.
Can we get some predictions before we go on 3 big fights? Obviously, Fury, Wilder.
Yes.
And then I want a prediction for Canelo Plant and Porter Crawford. Let's get some predictions.
All right, so I believe, man, this fight right here that's going down this Saturday, Fury and Wilder, it's a great matchup, because the reason why I say it like this, both guys have tested and they have tasted the canvas, right?
Yes.
Both of them.
Yes.
So they know what it feels like to go down, and especially against one another. Now I feel like it comes to a point where whose game plan is going to succeed at this point, and especially at this level now, because now they know each other. They fought each other twice. Now they know what their game plan is. Fury came with a better game plan after he lost, or whatever. Was it a
Draw.
But you know, and then Wilder, you know, he did what he had to do. Now he's coming back with a game plan. You know, with Malik Scott as his new trainer.
Right.
You know, and he's working and trying to bounce and all that. I think it's a 50-50 fight, man. However, you know, the styles make fights, man. I feel like you cannot change a fighter's style that has been working for him since he was 18 years old, and trying to change it within a year and a half. It don't work. You know, it's a habit. You know, it won't work. You know, and
So in other words, you're giving Fury the edge.
I am giving Fury the edge, just a slight bit. But at the end of the day, if the guy is like mentally just there, like trying to just go for everything and anything, you know, hey man, may the best man win.
Absolutely.
What about Canelo Plant?
Canelo and Plant, styles make fights again. You know, Canelo and Plant. Canelo has been in the ring so many times with so many other fighters. He knows what it takes. He's fought stylistic fighters like Floyd Mayweather, Lara, and so on and so forth. You know, and Caleb Plant, he's a boxer, man. I mean, he can punch when he has to, but he's gonna box. I feel like this might be a repeat of what happened with Lara and Canelo. You know what I mean? But a little bit different. You know, but it's you gotta have confidence. You gotta have confidence in this, and I don't know if Plant has that enough confidence, because when you take something too serious, like way too serious, You gotta have fun in this, man. You gotta know like, oh, I got this in the bag. You know, you can't really like just, but everybody's different, so I can't really point on that. You know, but I think it's gonna be a great fight, and I think this is definitely gonna show like not just Plant what he's capable of doing, but it's definitely gonna show Canelo like, all right, where does he stand? Because now he's gonna fight a slick, stylistic fighter again that he hasn't had since I think Lara.
Since the Lara fight,
well, Billy Joe Saunders.
Billy Joe was just on his back foot the whole time.
Right.
You know what I mean? He was on his back foot his whole time and doing the same movement over and over again.
Does Ryan Garcia get past Jojo Diaz?
We don't, you know, honestly, I'll be real, man. Jojo Diaz, we got to give credit to him, man. You know, he's a former Olympian. You know, he's a former world champion. He fought a stylistic fighter like Tevin Farmer and beat him. You know, got the job done. So it's a great matchup, and especially a good fight to come back for Ryan Garcia.
Okay,
I think, but mentally, where is he at?
That's true.
That's the biggest thing, because what is this game? 80% mental, 20% physical. And if you really was that rocky with your mentality, I feel like you know what character shows when you don't quit. You know, it's easy to quit and it's easy to stop when you're doing something, but your character shows when you don't.
All right, let's let it be seen. But last question, you said you gave your father the belt. Are you gonna give your father your son's name?
Oh yeah, Teofimo Lopez. He'll be the fourth though.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
There you have it, man.
He'll be the fourth. So, you know, it's blessings, man. And I'm just thinking about just building that for my boy, you know. The legacy continues. And whether I don't want to put pressure on him. I don't want him to just feel like, oh, he got to be boxing or anything. Whatever sport or whatever thing he wants to do, so be it, you know. But I'm going to have my father get him right. You know what I mean? Body slam him and do all the things like he did with me.
Get him tough.
You know, get him tough and build him strong like I am.
Well, congrats on the baby. Looking forward to seeing you in the ring again. Can't wait. It's a takeover, man. Teofimo Lopez.
Ready now, baby.
You know, I remember when Teofimo himself was kind of in this young man's position right here, being an undefeated prospect. We talking about the heavyweight, Jared Anderson. You're on a big card. This is the trilogy, Fury Wilder. We heard in the press conference, Fury has said some nice things about you. I see you as a future world champion. Well, how do you feel when people say that about you? Do you feel like there's a lot of pressure, man? I got to get there.
Not at all. I love doing what I do, and I have fun doing what I do. You know what I'm saying? We take it fight by fight, but that don't put no type of pressure on me because I'm not worried about being a world champion right now. I'm gonna say this because I haven't been able to express it in my previous interviews and stuff, but I'm here for generational wealth. Not saying that boxing is not something I want to leave a legacy in, but that's what I'm here for first. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to.
You only here for the paycheck?
Not at all. I'm here to have fun at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? I live every day like it's my last, so I'm gonna have fun in there like it's my last fight, every fight. You know what I'm saying?
There's nothing wrong with having a goal. Look, I'm here to make money.
Yeah, for sure. At the end of the day, I'm here to make sure that my family don't ever have to work again. You know what I'm saying? And have fun doing it. I'm not saying that I don't want to leave a legacy, but I'm not saying that's the most important thing to me.
Well, this is prize fighting, so nobody's mad at that. Now, listen. You're not just born with the confidence that I could beat everybody. Some people are. Yeah. They're crazy. I'm nuts like that. Yeah. But what day did that happen? What day did that happen? Like, was it a sparring session in the gym with one of the pros? What day was it like, I'm that guy?
Nah.
Come on, man. Come on. No, stop.
I gotta tell you the story, right?
All right, tell me.
And I ain't gonna mention his name, but he know who he is.
Okay, good. So I'm going to guess it.
Nah, not at all.
I'm gonna guess it. No, you ain't gotta say nothing.
You're not gonna guess. He from my hometown.
Okay.
So
all right, that's one clue.
We got some investigators.
And it's crazy because it's kind of in a way kind of like a Cassius Clay type of story. I was a bad kid. I got into a lot of stuff and I talked a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I had older brothers. I had two older brothers, and they both could. You know what I'm saying? They could rumble a little bit. So. I got into it with somebody, I can't remember what it was about, but we got into it, we ended up fighting. And one of my brother's best friends, his girlfriend came and she broke the fight up. Okay. My nose was bloody, I was beat up and everything, I was crying and everything. I was a mad crier. Every time I got mad, I started crying. So I go home, my mom see I'm beat up and I didn't got beat up and all this stuff. Man, she took me to boxing, but boxing was more for behavior anyway. So
what age was this?
Had to been like 10 or 11. And but I had already started boxing when I was 8. It just never took it serious.
Right.
So after I got beat up by this kid, I'm like, dang, man, I don't want that to ever happen again. And even then, I still didn't take boxing really seriously. I probably was 16 to 17. One day we were after school, I stayed around the corner from a park and I took some boxing gloves up there and let other people get in the gloves. You know, it wasn't right for a boxer to be beating up on nobody outside the street. Right. And this one kid just having to come back. No. He talked crazy. He was like, yeah, come on, Jared, get in the gloves, let me do this, do that, woo, woo. Yeah. And I'm like, you sure? He like, yeah, man. And I was a bigger kid. I wasn't no small kid, 16, 17. So, and I was a little bit bigger than him. So I was like, you sure? He said, yeah, come on. We got in the gloves and I got my revenge. And from that day on, I said I'd never let nobody beat me again. And that's where my confidence came from. I beat up my childhood. The person who beat me up in my childhood, I beat him up. So once that happened, it was over with.
So that took your level of confidence to a certain level. Now, let's talk a little trash here. I know you watch some of these big heavyweight showdowns and you see holes and some champions, contenders. There are probably some guys out there that you say, man, I could beat that dude.
100%.
Name some of those guys. Come on, let's talk about it.
Who can I name? I believe I could beat anybody, but if we want to name names, I go Joe Joyce, Daniel Dubois, a lot of the heavyweights on this card, we can go there too, if you want to go there.
Well, who the hell are your friends, bro? You beating everybody up.
I mean, everybody my friend. Man, this is a business.
Ain't no friends in this business.
You know, it's a business at the end of the day. FA is a business partner for me right now. We spar and everything else, but one day we can fight. You know what I'm saying? We got to make sure that money right, but we can fight for sure. I fight anybody. But I fight my brother if it came down to it.
No.
Yeah, you know
out of the top heavyweights, though, the champions. I'm talking about Fury, Wilder, Joshua, those guys.
You want me to say something?
Name me who would be.
I plead the fifth.
No, just tell me who would be the least difficult fight out of those guys.
The least difficult, Anthony Joshua. If we going those, he don't have a chin and he's a robot.
Why you say he ain't got a chin? Never been knocked out.
There's a lot of people who ain't never been knocked out cold, but there's a lot of people who been hurt. Just because he can survive.
It's a heavyweight division.
And a lot of people survive. You know why a lot of people survive? Because they don't know how to kill. They don't know how to close.
When did you realize you had a chin? Now, I know you got defense and all that, but when did you realize you had a chin?
Realize? I guess when FA hit me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
He could crack.
Man, that motherfucker.
He can crack.
I tell you, the first time we ever sparred, the man hit me on the right, hit me right here with the right hand on the top of my chin.
Yeah.
And I looked at him, I said, whoo, that won't ever happen again. Of course, being that we spar a lot, you know it happens, but yeah, for sure, it was a wake-up call, like, nah, that's something you gotta avoid.
Right.
All right, so maybe what should we expect? Another knockout, another Jared Anderson knockout this weekend?
Expect sharpness. That's the key right now. We want to show that we got more than just come forward and punch somebody face in, you know what I'm saying? We coming sharp and we coming precise.
All right, maybe there's no pressure in winning, fine, you got that supreme confidence, but you got 9 knockouts and 9 fights. Just like Edgar Berlanga, he had a lot of pressure on him to win first rounds every time. Do you have a pressure on getting a stoppage every single time? Or
not at all. They come.
So you don't care. All right.
It's not for me to decide. It's for my work to show how it comes. So if it comes, it comes. If it don't, it don't. You know what I'm saying? But my work gonna show it.
Out of all of these pros, who gave you your best work in sparring? That really taught you a lot?
I say Tyson. I say Tyson because it's difficult, you know what I'm saying? He's not a normal heavyweight. He's not an average heavyweight at all. His intensity, his punch count, his urge to win, and the length of his punches. You know, you gotta be prepared for all of that.
Oh, well, speaking of Tyson Fury, before we get out of here, we need a prediction on the main event. Who wins? How does it play out?
As I told them, I'm biased, man. Y'all know that. But I gotta go 7th round. I don't believe it's gonna make it past the 7th round, Tyson
Fury.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, well, listen, on that note, looking forward to seeing you not only this weekend, but moving forward in the heavyweight division. I do see you being a future world champion. I hope you make that money that you need to, to satisfy your goals. So, Jared Anderson, folks. All right, we're sitting here with former welterweight champion of the world, friends of the room, Hall of Famer, all right? He's in my top 5 dead or alive of all time, Mr. Andre Ward, fresh off of the weigh-in. I'm going to start with you, Dre. You're a guy people have never been able to really get in your head. At least it appears that way, right? Mind games, those things of the nature really never affected you in the fight. Do you think that Tyson Fury has got to Wilder to some degree?
I mean, it's hard to say. I definitely think that I think the performance got to him in the second fight. I think that's what's been staying with Deontay Wilder, and kind of, it's just one of them things that linger, because until you get back, you're not going to get over that. I think with the inception of Malik Scott and what they've been working on, I think Malik has been working on his physical body, game planning, strategy, but also his mind. Hey, man, when he says this means this. Right. Hey, at the press conference, don't worry about him standing up. That's nervous energy. So those are the mental reps that I think Deontay Wilder has been taking coming into this third fight. So I wouldn't say that Fury's in his head. but he's certainly trying.
Okay, I got to ask both of you guys this. I'm going to start with you, Shawn. What was going through your mind yesterday when we saw Deontay Wilder weigh in at 238 pounds?
I knew he'd come in a little heavier. I'm happy to see him looking as strong as he looks. He looked like a tight end to me up there weighing in, and I think that the thing is, when you can build on that strength that you already have, that's God-given, and you can cultivate it around the mindset that Dre's talking about coming from Malik Scott, you improving the weapon. You know what I mean? So like he already was a pretty lethal weapon. Now it's I would say it's a sure thing that he is a weapon.
The double barrel right now.
He is a weapon on the ring on fight night.
Dre, what do you think?
I don't know how to feel about it. You know, I come from a school of thought where, you know, physical strength is felt more than it's seen. So on the surface, you know, it looks great, you know, but my coach always told me, hey, we got to do the right strength work. We got to do functional stuff that translates in that ring, that translates your movements. And he said, Dre, we're not gonna bench press because you don't do nothing on your back. Matter of fact, we spent our whole career trying to stay off our back. You know, we don't curl. That's a short movement that shortens the bicep head, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So do things that keep you supple, keep you long, but get you strong. Deontay Wilder's punch is like a whip. Right. I just don't know if him having that extra mass is going to slow him down just that much, or have his punch not as sharp or as crisp as it normally is. It may translate and be a phenomenal thing, but from my experience, extra mass has a downside. That means when that blood starts to fill up in the muscles, when that fight starts to heat up, exchanges start to happen, fatigue is going to set in. What are you going to do when that happens? So it could work. It looks good, but we got to find out.
You know, I asked both of you, Shawn, I'll start with you. Deontay took a lot of heat with the allegations after the second fight, right? But Barack and I talk about it all the time. Sometimes a guy needs to believe that in order to move forward, to get past the loss, right? Did, you know, him believing that Tyson cheated, I mean, do you think that maybe that served him well so he can have some hope?
Yeah, well, you know what? I don't live that kind of lifestyle. I don't live a life of ignoring things. I don't live a life of pretending like something didn't happen or believing something else, making up things in my mind or whatever the case may be. And I'm not saying that he made any of it up. I'm just saying that I think that was what he needed at that point in time. We are 20 months away from that point in time, I believe, somewhere around that. And I think that he's gone through every cycle of accepting what happened that he's needed to go through to get to the point that he's at now. I think the point that he's at now, he's in a place of calmness that he speaks of. He's in a place of confidence. I think that his confidence is back. I think that he's more mature now. I think that he's smarter in the ring now. I think that he's more developed as a boxer now because of the things that he and Malik have worked on. And I think that he's a better fighter now.
But you as a fighter, you've been there before where after losing, giving yourself a reason. There's a reason why I lost that fight.
You know
something I did wrong. I mean, Dre, you might not be able to relate to that in a long time right now.
My dude ain't lost a fight since he was like 11.
I didn't have some bad moments though.
Yeah, like he's like 11. But for my whole thing was like, even in wins, what I went immediately. What did I do wrong? Even in wins, you know what I mean. So again, like that's what I mean by like not living that type of lifestyle, in the sense that I was always looking for what I did wrong and how can I improve what I did wrong. I think it took him some time to get there. I think that the time was necessary. I've always said that this pandemic was a blessing in disguise in some ways. It was a blessing for D because it didn't force him to take this fight any sooner than he had to, and then he got some more time on the back end of everything. So I think that this is happening on time for him.
Dre, you think he needed that to believe that?
I mean, I'm like Shawn. Like I like my goddaddy and my coach Virgil Hunter, he wouldn't let me get away with that. So I can't really relate. I can't really say I've been in those shoes. Now, I have been in Shawn's shoes where even a win, like people look and say, oh, you undefeated, you don't know. I didn't get to this point by resting on all the things I did good in my wins. We would acknowledge that briefly, but it was always, hey, this is where you can get beat, bro. You got away with this in this fight, but the next fight. So it was always tinkering and working like an old mechanic under the hood. You always, hey, man, you fixed the engine yesterday. Yeah, but this carburetor ain't right. That's how my coach approached my career. So I felt like I was always reaching. I was always trying to fix things and do things differently. Maybe it will help.
Right.
The concern is it was so many excuses. That's the big concern. Like if it was, hey, bro, I didn't feel right last night, and I do believe that Deontay Wilder didn't feel right. I don't think that was made up. I feel like you know,
look great.
Maybe his legs weren't there, whether it was the suit or whatever else, but at some point you got to stand flat-footed and have a real conversation with yourself in order to right those wrongs.
Right, watching that fight over, it looked like his legs were bad even in the first round. But listen, when I think about Usyk versus Joshua, a lot of people are saying we seen what Joshua could have did differently. But in this fight, it seems like a lot of people are saying Fury has Wilder's number. What do you think, Dre?
He might have his number, but I don't think it's a foregone conclusion. This is heavyweight boxing. This is also boxing, and you got Deontay Wilder, who's always been dangerous, but he's dangerous in a different kind of way. Every fight that he's gone into, even the second fight, it's always been, it's going to go my way tonight. I know it is. Well, how do you know? Because they all go my way. He can't say that going into this fight. So he's dangerous with his God-given ability and gift of that right hand, but the mentality is this can't go wrong. Yes. If it goes wrong, my career could be over. That's a different urgency and desperation that he's never had before. So he's dangerous in a different kind of way.
You think that's what Malik brought to the table, making him realize that you cannot rely on just the power?
I think it helped.
Get you over the top.
But you got to realize Malik's not with Deontay 24/7. Deontay has a lot of moments, just like he's getting ready to have a few hours from now when it's him by himself. Right? That was probably one of the loneliest moments in my life, was Kovalev, going into Kovalev 2, going back to the house we rented, right? After all of this is said and done, my brothers who are with me, they go out and do what they do. My team, they sleep, and it's just me. Me, myself, and I processing, did I do everything? Man, how did he look on the scale? What did I read from him when I looked him in his eye? Man, I can't give them the opportunity to write about if I lose. I can't give them that opportunity. All of these things are going through his mind. So yes, you got to give Malik some credit, but you also got to give Deontay some credit too.
Are you guys allowed to give a prediction how this fight plays out?
Oh, I don't make predictions.
No?
No.
Can you finesse it in a nice way?
I'm gonna finesse it for you. And we'll talk about how the fight went and why it went the way that it went.
You had to plug that, huh? You had to plug it.
Finesse it for me, Dre. Give me a prediction before we get out of here.
I'm gonna say this. I'm not gonna do a hard prediction, but I'm gonna say, look, Tyson Fury's supposed to win based on what he did in that second fight. But this is heavyweight boxing. Like I said, Deontay Wilder's dangerous in a different kind of way. Neither guy can come in here comfortable. They both got to bring it and be at their best, or it could get ugly quick.
Yeah. All right, you heard it, man. Andre Ward, Shawn Porter, folks. All right, the main reason we're here in Las Vegas, we couldn't come all the way to Sin City and not talk to the Gypsy King himself, Tyson Fury. Tyson, you've been linked to Deontay for such a long time now. Like, regardless of how this fight plays out, are you ready for the divorce after this fight? Is this safe to say that you're never going to share the ring with Deontay again?
I think me and Deontay, we've had some fun together, just like any relationship with man and wife. You have fun together, then something happens and you end up getting divorced, and it's always messy. Always.
Absolutely.
And that's our relationship, Deontay Wilder, I brought him into big time boxing. Before me, he was just an unknown American champion. He was a world champion, but nobody knew him. Right. After the fights he's had with me, this will be the third fight now. He's gone on to be like a big star in England and across everywhere. People know Wilder. Right. They know him probably for the wrong reasons, for being a big dosser, but they still know him. They still have heard of his name. He's a household name now, and I brought him into that. So the divorce, it'll only end one way. And that's what it is.
Is this Dazn word real? Come on, it's fake. No, it's fake.
Google it.
No, I Googled it, but you showed me some fake meaning or some urban dictionary.
Urban dictionary.
Remember when we were on our show?
Yeah, that's crazy. But listen, what was going through your mind when you saw that he was 238 pounds? We've never seen him that heavy.
The weight factor doesn't mean much. My heavy is 277 pounds today. We're heavyweights. We're big giant men. He's 6'7". I'm 6'9" tall. Yeah. The weight though won't help Deontay Wilder. Because he's about a 207 to 10 pound guy, really athletic. And when he's at that weight, he's most dangerous in my opinion.
Right. Possibly so.
But at this heavier weight, I deal with big heavyweights all the time. Right. It slows them down, and even if it doesn't slow them down so much, they can't keep a pace going for the full duration. So that says to me that he's looking for a quick fire knockout.
Do you feel like he didn't have legs in the second fight? Because he said he didn't have legs.
He also said a lot of stuff, so can you really believe what he says? But
I mean, but watching it back,
I don't know. When he's in there, whether he had legs under him or he didn't, the outcome would have been the same. But he was going on about his 20-pound suit that he wore to the ring. He's just put on like another 20 pounds from last time. Is he going to come? A
lot has happened since in the last few weeks in the heavyweight division. We always what happened. We were in London when AJ lost to Usyk. Yeah. Now the talks are the winner of this fight has to face Dillian White. Is that the case? Are we going to see Dillian White if you get past Wilder?
They didn't say Dillian White. They said the winner of Wallin and White. And I think Wallin will beat White. So maybe I'll have to have a rematch with Dillian White, Otto Wallin again.
Would you fight him again if he beats Dillian?
Whoever they put in front of me, I'll terminate. And that's it. Ideally, I'd like to get him out of the way and then fight Usyk for all the belts and then whoever else.
You don't think you and Joshua needs to happen at some point, though?
Yeah, it'll happen, but it won't happen right next, I don't think.
Right.
But anyway, I've got a 238-pound guy who's got a lot to prove out there. He's had a lot to say, so I'm anticipating a good fight this time.
But he said he doesn't really care about weight. It just comes on, whatever. What about you? Were you concentrating on even being heavier than the last fight?
Not really. I've been training at this weight for the last 18 months. This is me natural. Like before, I used to drop a load of weight, like try and get down to 250, because I thought that was a great number to be, 250. Like Lennox Lewis used to be 250. Why not? Why shouldn't I be 250?
Yeah.
But I'm a lot taller, and as I've got older, I've just filled out more and matured more. And I think you get heavier as you get older.
Because you know people are going to say, oh, we wasn't training. He was partying with the Versace shirts on. Now he's 277.
Make no mistakes. I've trained like a lunatic for this.
You just made it look like that. You did look Floyd did, I guess. You made it look like you just partying.
Yeah, I've had a good. I had 4 weeks in England, 2 weeks here, and I've had a week rest. So what's that? 6 weeks training?
Yep.
But don't forget, I've been training twice a day for the last 3 years.
Right.
I'm always in shape. So 6 weeks to me is probably too long, to be fair.
What?
I'm ready to go. 3 weeks of sparring, 1 week rest. I'm ready.
All right.
I'm like old school fighters. I could have 10 fights in 1 year if the promotional people would do it.
Right.
I'm ready all the time.
I'm a big better. We're in Vegas. I like the prop bets, though, the ones where you pick a round. I want to make a lot of money. If you had to predict a round, when does this fight end?
I don't know. It could walk onto one straight away in round 1, or it could take a few rounds to batter him into submission. So I'm not entirely sure what round it ends.
But it doesn't go the distance.
But it doesn't go the distance. Not a chance.
Wow.
All right.
He ain't going the distance at 238, and I definitely ain't going the distance at 277.
So if he was 211, you'd be like, maybe I got to worry a little bit.
I'd think he'd be a better fighter at 211 for sure. Okay. When I first fought him, he was much quicker than the second time, a lot quicker actually. And he was unable to land these big punches in the second fight. And now he's even slower again and heavier again. We'll see what happens.
Well, we're excited that this much anticipated fight is happening. Good luck, and thanks for taking the time, Tyson.
And I'll see you all after the fight for a beer.
All right, absolutely.
Tyson Fury, folks.
Take it easy, bro.
Thank you.
All right, before we get out of here, man, this is my favorite segment of the show, Choose Your Fighter. And we can't do it without our colleagues that are all over here across the pond. Nick and Adam, Fight Disciples, he's trying to outdo me with the off-white ducks.
There you go.
Yeah, I had those on yesterday, but listen, now you guys
They're both
great.
ugly, don't worry, you're good.
You guys are great to chop it up with you guys. I mean, we work on the same network, but now we're chopping it up about a big fight. This is a trilogy. I know you guys are siding with your guy across the pond. I mean, he's the guy.
How do you
he's
know
the
for
safe,
sure?
Man, I just
how
know.
do you
I got
know
a
for sure?
feeling,
Hold on.
But he's the safe bet, no question about it. But you got to be a little nervous with the power that Deontay Wilder possesses in this fight, man. I'll start with you, Adam.
Yeah, 100%, man. He's a wounded animal, isn't he? And that's always dangerous coming into a fight like this. I mean, when we were at the press conference the other day, you could see that the guy is absolutely lasered in. He's focused. He's looking for retribution, and that is dangerous. And despite what happened in that second fight last February, he's still the most dangerous puncher in the heavyweight division. I don't care what anybody says. You know? That makes him an incredibly dangerous guy, especially in those early rounds.
All right, and Nick, I want to ask you, man. You know we always judge from the press conference on. Who won that press conference?
Fury for me.
Why?
Absolutely.
But Deontay Wilder was calm.
He was composed.
Fury didn't sit down.
Yeah, well, that's Fury's energy, though, isn't it? That nervous energy bouncing around. I think Deontay was sitting there, and I felt like Fury was physically intimidating them.
Wait,
but Deontay was sitting back, and then when the lies started coming out, when the talk of the conspiracy theories, Deontay's team had to shout.
He said lies already. You heard that, right? He squeezed that in there. He said when the lies
know they were lies.
Come on.
But I think Deontay needs that. I think mentally, that's a fragile man right there. He needs this.
I asked the wrong guy. No, I meant to say Adam. No,
but Rock, listen, you've been talking about belief. First off, you guys dress like Americans. That's why I think Anthony said you like
no,
these
they
guys.
lost their baggage. They had to buy all new clothes. It's cool.
No, so on a serious note, Barack always talks about it. Deontay really believed that Fury cheated. He believed that there's no way he could have lost in a fair matchup. Now that very well may not be true, but if a man believes that, at least there's some hope there. There's some room that I can win. If he's in, if he would have believed that he just can't beat Fury fair out, I mean, how he would walk into this fight. So there has to be, maybe that's helping him.
Yeah, I think what Deontay does in fight week, he has this transition, doesn't he? He transitions from Deontay Wilder into the Bronze Bomber. He creates a character. He's used to creating narratives in his head. Now, as a logical person, looking at all the things that he said, you look at it and you think, well, how could those things have happened? For example, the hand wrap situation. Jed Diaz was in the dressing room at the time of it being wrapped. Whatever, okay. But if I agree with what you're saying, man, he has to create a narrative to get himself in the right mental space to go to business on Saturday night. And if that's how he wants to do it, then that's on him. But from my point of view, I'm like,
well, logical people don't punch each other in the face.
That's fair enough.
So none of these guys are logical, you know what I mean?
What I think is, listen, I look back to the fight itself and what happened in the ring afterwards, because that's pure, that's not fake, that's real. And Deontay Wilder was like, I got beat by a better guy. I got beat by a better man. I will come back and be back, you know, and get back on top and everything else. And I thought, stay that guy, because that guy's dangerous. That guy goes away, works with Malik Scott, realizes there was problems and fills those holes and comes back with a better game plan, and a game plan that's appreciative of Tyson Fury's power. But what he did was he listened to his entourage, and they got in his ear and said, oh man, the gloves, the water, marking our corner, get rid, all that. The suit was too heavy. Come on.
But that was a good point. I want to go back to that same interview. In that same interview, he was already alluding to there were issues coming in with my legs, but you know, no excuses. So maybe that is the case. And when I go back and I look at, because we watched it again the day before yesterday, I've watched it so many times. That wasn't the regular Deontay Wilder that fought Luis Ortiz or anybody else. No, the regular Deontay Wilder is on his toes until he's ready to commit. So there was a problem with his legs. Now, what if there's no problem?
But maybe I'm judging him on the way Anthony Joshua deals with defeat. Right. Maybe that's why I'm doing that, because if you look at the Andy Ruiz thing, very obvious that's not Anthony Joshua, the guy that's walking to the ring at Madison Square Garden. That's not the guy.
Definitely.
Look at the way that he dealt with that defeat. We didn't hear the excuses. No. He just went, we all knew that there was something wrong. He's not told us what those things are that were wrong, and he's gone, I got beat by the better guy, I'm going to go away and I'm going to go and sort it out.
But come on, this is boxing. Everybody always goes, no excuses, but my toes hurt, you know.
Look, speaking of Anthony Joshua, Adam, I'm not a superstitious person, right? But we all saw a big upset. Not a big upset, because a lot of people did feel that Usyk could win that fight, right? Including myself, though I was rooting for AJ. There was an upset. Now there's a rematch. Do you think psychologically, for some superstitious reason, maybe Fury's like, man, am I going to be the guy that's going to be upset this weekend again? Because he is the favorite, and mess up the whole apple card. Remember, we were dreaming of Fury Joshua in London. Is he the mentally strong one here Saturday night, Tyson Fury?
That was my big question before we got into town. You know, that was when we sat down with him on Monday. That was one of the first things I wanted to ask Tyson Fury. How did that feel 2 weeks ago watching that? Because you lost that night as much as AJ. You lost $150 million that was on the table. How'd you pick yourself up the next day? How does Sugar Hill get you and pick your spirits up? Because you're about to fight a guy for the third time. You outboxed him once, you outpunched him the second time. So it's difficult to motivate you anyway. The motivation was get him out of the equation, finish the Deontay Wilder story, and move on to the biggest fight in the history of British boxing.
But that same guy also put you down twice and almost knocked you out.
That, but you kind of, I think for Tyson Fury to stay focused, he needs to know what's next. What's next? What's after this? And what's next has gone now. So I think psychologically he has got some demons himself to get over. He was talking great on Monday. He is in great spirits. But that's why I thought when they were together on stage, I thought Tyson was a stronger guy, but he was nervous. He was bouncing around. He was a little bit un-Tyson.
So can we admit now that Deontay won the press conference?
Definitely not. His team may have won it for him.
Let's get Adam's opinion on that.
I'm a little bit concerned because I'm not seeing the Bronze Bomber yet. I haven't seen the Bronze Bomber come out. You know, the Bomb Squad guy.
Bomb Squad!
Yeah, that guy, you know what I mean? Who is talking about the violence that he wants to throw in there on a Saturday night. He's very considered with his thought process.
The WBC ordered the winner of this fight to fight Dillian White, right? Yep. Do you guys like that fight? Is it likely to happen?
Well, I like it. Yeah, I like it.
No, you don't. No, you don't. We want to see it undisputed. Come on, we don't want that.
I like it for the reason that, you know,
Dillian deserves it,
AJ's
man.
going straight back in with Usyk. I think that's the wrong fight.
What's that?
Me personally, I think that's the wrong fight. I think AJ should fight Dillian White, and I think the winner here should fight Usyk for undisputed. That's what I would do. And then AJ.
Are you saying AJ cannot beat Usyk in a immediate rematch?
Right here, right now, with that corner team? No.
Oh, you're going big today, man.
No.
You asked.
I think AJ needs to come over here, dress like we are, become American.
We've been trying to get him to
coach, and get a new game plan.
Who?
There you go.
Name somebody. I like Buddy.
There you go. There you go.
I mean, I do agree with you guys. I didn't see the sense of urgency that I should have saw in his corner. No disrespect to McCracken. I've been saying it for years. Maybe add somebody to the team. I love AJ's loyalty, though. But there's nothing wrong with adding somebody to the team.
Absolutely not. You use the word can he? Of course he can, man. Look at the attributes of the fella.
Yeah.
He needs to go back to the old AJ, the street fighting AJ, the wrecking machine AJ.
What'd you call him? What's his nickname, Barack? Femi.
Go back to that guy. The guy that was, you know what I mean, not getting paid for overtime. You know what I mean? He didn't even need a shower after his fight. Just get in there and get out of there. That's what he needs to do.
I agree. But does he exist anymore?
He's in there. He's got to dig deep.
Did Ruiz take that away from him? Is he that guy anymore? Now he wants to be Lennox Lewis. He wants to be Klitschko. He wants to work off the jab. That is not AJ. AJ's a wrecking machine.
I think the right man can find that old AJ and get him out. All right, before we get out of here, this is Choose Your Fighter. Do we even have to ask them who they're choosing?
Because it seems like here's Deontay Wilder versus
This is the moment.
And we're unbiased. You know what I'm saying?
All right, give us a prediction how it plays out.
Fury on the floor in the first.
Wow.
Gets up off the floor and stops Deontay in 6.
Woo!
Boom, right there.
Come on, Adam, talk to me.
Right there. I'm going in.
Sam. No. I think it's a gun show, boys. I really do. I think Deontay Wilder, the way that he wins this fight is being more Deontay Wilder, being more Bronze Bomber, throwing those combination punches and hooks that in the 4s and 5s that he throws, one of those does land. I think he will have success in the fight, but I think he'll gas out because he's going to approach it like that, and we'll get Tyson Fury probably in around about a similar stage than the fight previous. So within 7.
I'm not arrogant enough as these guys to think I know who's going to win. I don't know it's going to be a good fight. I just think we're going to see a different Deontay Wilder, and I'm very excited to see that.
Well, I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is. Well, I already put my money there, so now I'm about to catch up with my mouth. I think that we're going to see a Deontay Wilder knockout somewhere between round 6 and round 10, and I put money on it, and I'm gonna win big because it's a big prop bet. All right.
And if that happens, that's good for boxing.
Last question: if that does happen, do we see a 4th fight?
I hope so, but Deontay said this week, whatever happens Saturday, this is done. Tyson Fury is done. Don't forget, these guys have lived with each other in their heads for how many years now?
Right.
20 months since the last fight. Yeah. I think they both just want to move on.
I don't want to see a 4th one
as well.
I don't want to see a
4th one down the line, but how crazy would it be if that happened and then we were talking about a losers match between AJ and Fury rather than a unification fight?
Or maybe Deontay does win. I win big money. Joshua wins a rematch, and we see Wilder Joshua. That fight that was supposed to happen a long time ago.
Yeah. You remember that?
Listen, the heavyweight.
That's crazy.
The heavyweight division is popping. Nevertheless, thank you guys for joining us, man. It's been a pleasure. Had some fun. If you guys are watching this in Germany, just know that this fight is going to be right here on the Zone. Thanks for watching. Peace and love. Stay safe. See you on Monday.